Is it true that if I pick a bluebonnet, I go to jail?
Absolutely. Prison.
Yep.
20 years.
Yep. 20-year
Mandatory
fine going on that.
Yeah.
Did you believe that as a kid?
I think my parents may have said that at one point, and I picked up pretty quick that, like, nah, you're lying. You just don't want me to pick them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. People have said that forever, and there's a part of me that believed it before Google. After Google, I think it's not true.
Is it though?
Is it?
Oh, all right. Well, what's going on, everybody? Y'all are listening to the Daytripper Podcast. It's good to have y'all here with us. It is May 2022. I am Chet Garner. Joining me on the couch, my co-host, Daniel Meese.
Howdy.
There's a lot been going on in our lives in Texas, and so Talkin Texas is just a strange cacophony, to use a $1 million word, of all kinds of things happening. Anyway, shout out to the Daytripper World Headquarters. And if y'all been listening for a while, y'all know the code podcast will get you 20% off in the store. And we got we got new shirts in there. We got new hats in there. Daniel rocking one of our branded Yetis.
I love it.
Over there. And so, anyway, go to thedaytripper.com and you can find the shop button, and then you can find all the stuff. And just straight off the bat, y'all please leave us a comment, like this, review it wherever you get your podcasts, and all that kind of good stuff really helps to move the needle. So anyway, let's jump in. It's May, and that means in Texas, the thing that everybody is going crazy over right now,
easy,
wildflowers.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, see, right there, man, right there. Wildflowers.
Specifically,
here, bluebonnets. But it's been a weird year because of the weather.
Yeah.
The bluebonnets and the Indian paintbrushes are popping up at the same time.
Which one's your favorite?
Ooh. Dang, man.
Bluebonnet's an easy answer, but
bluebonnet, I mean, you know,
I love
we take
Indian
for granted, dude, Indian paintbrushes.
Those are my favorite.
I think one of my favorites, honestly, are the Indian blankets.
Those are pretty.
You know, the ones with they're like the sunburst.
Yes, they have more brown.
They're circular.
Yellow.
They've got the levels of yellow, red, and then brown.
But the paintbrush is like bright orange.
Yes. I do too. I love it. And typically they come kind of in phases. Mm-hmm. Like you've got the bluebonnets hit, and then those kind of die, and then the paintbrushes come, and then those kind of die, and then the blankets come, and those kind of die. Mm-hmm. We can't say Indian paintbrush or Indian blanket anymore. I don't know what to call them now.
Wait. Did somebody say you can't say that?
Oh, yeah. That's been, like, people stopped calling that about a couple years ago.
It's the name of
It's
them,
been
isn't
canceled, Daniel. Sorry to let you know. Look, give us a good new name. We'll call it that. Not to
call
offend,
it by its scientific
not to
name.
offend anybody. I know. Metellius Moralius is whatever they are, you know.
Oh, gosh.
So, anyway, but until we learn the new name. Indian paintbrushes. Beautiful.
Them bright orange
Indian
ones.
Blankets. Yeah. them bright there orange ones. But I take for granted how cool it is to drive past a field and it's blue.
I know.
Like that's kind of crazy, right? Blue is sky, green is earth, but this one little season we get this blue blanket.
It's blue.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Do you take pictures with your girls in the bluebonnets?
We used to do it every year. And as my girls are 13, 12, and then our youngest one's 5. And so we really want to take them with the youngest one especially, but the older ones are like, Dad, I'm too old for this.
Don't make me. Oh, man. It would be a war if I tried to get my 13-year-old to sit down.
Oh, I believe it.
In the bluebonnets. Here, put on this like nice shirt and bow tie and then go and sit. But you're right. We used to do it every year. We're going to have all these great bluebonnet pictures of kids, and then like poor little Shep at the end never got a single picture in the bluebonnets. Todd White prides himself on the fact that he has never had a photo shoot in bluebonnets.
Oh, that's a Todd thing.
That's totally a Todd thing.
I can totally hear that.
The same guy who hates brisket and he hates steak and he hates bluebonnets. Like
this guy is not
How
Texan.
do you live in this state? We love you, Todd. We love you. You're not listening to this.
No, he's not.
John Mark's laughing over there at the switcher. But he, I get it. He's like, too cliche. Probably why he doesn't like brisket. Too cliche. All Texans like brisket. And I hate Buc-ee's. And I hate DQ Blizzards. And I hate Whataburger. I don't even think he likes Whataburger.
What?
I mean, the guy, don't just
That is so un-Texan.
We're gonna move on.
We cannot talk about Todd.
Yeah, we
anymore.
can't talk about
No.
Todd. Sad. We're not even giving you the benefit of being talked about. All right, so wildflowers, and then we filmed something. This will kind of dovetail into the next section. Like, we were recently in the Dallas Arboretum.
Yeah.
In the midst of this beautiful day, and they had planted. Dallas Arboretum has to be one of the prettiest, maybe the prettiest place to view flowers in Texas.
I would.
Right?
I mean, I would think so.
Dude, they plant 500,000 tulips by hand in all these different colors and levels.
Unbelievable.
And
I've never seen anything like that in my life. That was crazy.
Yes. And we asked the lady at the Dallas Arboretum, was like, is there anything like this in the country? And she couldn't think of anything. She said Atlanta has a pretty good arboretum.
I'm sure other states have awesome ones, but I haven't seen them.
Dude, I know.
This is by far the best one I've seen in Texas.
It was like, I kind of put it on the show as kind of like, we'll
see.
We were on White Rock Lake, and I was like, it kind of makes sense to kind of go there. It'll tie together nice, but we'll just kind of do a pop in, pop out.
Yeah.
And then it turned into this whole thing. Like, it was beautiful. So, anyway.
That was cool.
If you're in Dallas or around the area, go see stinking Dallas Arboretum. Or, heck, if you want to drive 4 hours to go see it, it'll be worth it. It's beautiful.
But if you're going to take your senior portraits, stay off of the sidewalk.
Off of the sidewalk. Dude,
nobody likes it there.
Man, there were so many grammars there doing like, Instagram selfies, and then, like, no kidding, baby photos, couples photos,
Everything.
engagement photos, graduation photos, quinceañera photos. Like, it was a joke almost how many people had brought professional photographers out there.
Todd would have been laughing.
Todd would have been like, yeah, cliche. All of you. Cliche. I'm going to go take it by the fire hydrant behind the shop. Now that'll be a better photo. What?
Gotta keep it real.
Keep
artistic.
it raw. Who likes colorful things?
Here we go to Todd
Sorry,
again.
Todd. We love you, Todd. Anyway, we were in Dallas. This is like what we've been up to. What have we been up to? And so we were in Dallas filming the second half of the show. And the coolest thing that happened that day, Arboretum was awesome. White Rock Lake was awesome. We stinking met Laura Bush.
That was so cool.
Laura Bush. So the George W. Bush Library and Center and Institute is all there in downtown Dallas. Well, not downtown, but like central Dallas on the SMU campus. And the library is great. Like if you like history, seeing all the things that happened during W's presidency is awesome. It covers 9/11.
You don't even have to like George W. Bush.
Oh, of course
There's
not. Yeah.
so much that happened in his presidency. It's so informative. And
Oh, yeah.
I loved it. It was amazing.
Yeah, the War on Terror. Not to mention he's a painter now. He's got all of his
And he's
paintings
a
up.
good painter.
He's a really good painter.
Very good.
And so the inside's cool, but Laura's passion project in Central Dallas is a 15-acre native Texas park. And so Laura is very passionate about native land, using land, stewardship of land, conservation of land. And so she's kind of set this like park that kind of teaches you about that stuff. And she gave us a walk around the park.
It was so amazing.
There were points where like I don't think I called her Laura, but like it was like, yeah, back up 10 feet and walk here again. Now back, and you're like, you had to tell the former first lady what to do. Like, yeah, start over there and walk toward me. No,
I
not
thought
good.
about
Do
that
it again. Do it again.
Like directing the first lady. I literally in the moment I was just thinking we got to get this before we leave, and afterwards I was thinking, was I polite enough? Like, did I cross any boundaries?
Right.
There was one point where I do remember I was like, okay, and I need y'all to walk this way, and we've got like an entourage of her entourage behind us, and they're like, you don't film her from behind. I'm like, no, I wasn't gonna do that. I'm just thinking, well, I was probably gonna do that. But
yeah. They,
it's like it's almost like when you're addressing the queen. Like, how do I bow or curtsy if you're a woman? Like, you're not. It's not quite that level, but it's right below it. Just below that.
Yeah, I mean, so it was so cool, and she couldn't have been more gracious and nice,
well spoken, just like
she was, and beautiful. She's a beautiful lady, just great. I loved it with her. Like,
everything she said was so awesome.
And she didn't really have a lot of pretense about her. You could tell like she was just kind of like hospitable and kind.
Yeah,
like a Midland girl should be. She was Midland girl. So
it was a lot of fun.
Anyway, what else? You got any other highlights from the past month?
Highlights from the past month. I probably should have thought about this more before we had I mean, literally, that was the highlight of my year so far. I mean, that was just so cool. I can't think of too much more we did that was more awesome.
Not much is
that.
going to top that. Not much is going to top that.
And we knew it was going to be intense whenever they were like, all right, we need you here at least an hour early for a check through all of your baggage and everything.
Dude, no lie.
Secret Service.
That'd be fun. So, like, we had to submit all of our names, social security numbers, driver's license numbers, long beforehand in a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And so we all had to pass background checks. And then when we got there, we had to get there an hour early. Yeah, no, like, please, no. Mexico didn't happen. There's no trip to Mexico. Then we had to get there an hour early, lay all the gear out, and then the bomb dog came.
The dog sniffed it all
up.
Isn't that funny how, like, nothing is wrong, but you're like, please don't be wrong.
I know.
It's like you're just thinking in your head, what if he catches us?
Well, it's like,
catches what?
Guys, like, we carry pocket knives a lot. I was like, please tell me I didn't leave my pocket knife in my pocket. Just not that. I just don't want to. You want to sail. You want it to be easy.
I've got a concealed carry license, so I've already had to go through a federal background check with fingerprints and everything.
Yeah.
And I also kept thinking, well, that should help. But then I'm like, oh wait, does that put me more on a red flag alert? Yeah. Like, no, I'm not carrying. Don't worry.
Right.
Not today.
Right. Man.
It was fun though. It was a lot of fun.
It was awesome. It was awesome. All right. So while we've been busy, Texas has been busy too. This is Meanwhile in Texas.
While you've been listening to this podcast, lots of stuff's been going on in the Lone Star State. This is Meanwhile in Texas.
All right, Daniel, what'd you find? What's been happening?
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Where were you 17 years ago?
Oh, 17 years ago?
Think about it. Very specific number, 17 years ago.
41. I would have been, 24? 24. I was in law school.
That's what I figured.
In Waco.
That's what I figured. Yeah. So while you were chained down in law school, there was a flamingo that was chained down in a zoo
17 years
ago, but it was in Kansas, and a storm came, and this flamingo got out.
Oh, okay.
And this flamingo, much like Chet Garner, had its eyes on Texas, because apparently just recently in March of 2022, this flamingo was spotted again.
No,
I didn't even know flamingos lived that long. It's an African flamingo. It was in a zoo in Kansas. Storm came. It got out. It's been seen every once in a while. It just got spotted again on a Texas coast.
No way.
Yes, in Port Lavaca. And so people know it's that flamingo because it has a band and it's numbered. And so they actually have video footage, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's the flamingo."
That's the flamingo from Kansas, the jailbreak flamingo.
How crazy is that?
How long do flamingos live?
That made me question it, and I'm not 100% sure. You have to look that one up.
I've got a computer right here.
I mean, if only there was a device.
Yeah, 20 to 30 years. Wow.
Especially when they're free.
Did not know that. Okay, but don't flamingos have to eat like a particular kind of shrimp and all that?
I'm pretty sure the Texas Gulf Coast has about everything they would need.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
But I did notice the flamingo wasn't very pink in the video.
The pink color
which makes
comes from the shrimp.
Sense. It comes from a very specific diet, and not just from the shrimp, but from what the shrimp that they eat.
Yes.
And so it wasn't quite pink, but no doubt it was a flamingo.
It's on the run from the law,
I know.
It's living on the lam. And so, if you break out of prison, you're gonna have to.
It's in disguise.
You have to change your diet a little bit. Oh yeah, he's like change your appearance.
I'm not a flamingo.
I can't be pink anymore. I gotta be white. It's like,
I'm a Texas crane.
just a crane over here eating some crabs. Delicious.
But what would you do? You're on the Gulf Coast somewhere. And you see a bird that you're like, is that a flamingo?
I mean,
nobody would believe
have a really weird beak.
They do.
Pics it didn't happen. And
the pics are there.
They're there. I gotta see this.
We'll
put that in the description on this video and in the in the podcast as well. A flamingo in Texas. Texas.
African.
I'm
flamingo.
amazed that it was able to survive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where it's been all over.
That's incredible. And that flamingos live 20 to 30 years. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
I will add this. Normally, flamingos in a zoo would have their wings clipped so that they couldn't fly away.
Okay.
They hadn't gotten around to it yet on this one, so that's how he was able to do
that.
So
the one flamingo that breaks out.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot. All right, so I've got another story about a different flying animal. Not a bird. This is a flying mammal.
Uh-oh.
It seems, Daniel, if Texas wasn't already dangerous enough, rattlesnakes, mountain lions. We now probably have vampire bats.
What?
Vampire bats in Texas, Daniel. They are coming in.
Aren't those huge?
Yes, they can get big. They can get big.
Oh, no.
Okay, so vampire bats historically have been South America, but over the past couple decades, they've moved up Central America. They're definitely in Mexico. And there is he's like the Van Helsing of Texas.
No.
His name is Mike Bodenchuk. And what he does is he goes down to the Texas border.
Oh, this is a guy. I thought you were talking about the name of a bat.
Oh, the Van Helsing. No. Van Helsing's the famous vampire hunter.
Okay, gotcha.
And anyway, we have one of those. And he goes down to the Texas border, and he is waiting. He's just waiting. He thinks they're here. He hasn't found evidence yet. But he's looking for the sign, the telltale sign.
Wait.
These vampire bats eat cow blood. Cow blood, sheep, whatever. And they scratch it, and then they lick it. So they don't actually like suck through their fangs. But you can see these cows, they'll have a line of blood dripping down their back from where the vampire bat has been.
But we've only seen evidence of them. We haven't seen them
No,
yet.
we haven't even seen the evidence yet, but we're pretty sure they're here because they've been seen further north than Texas and Mexico. And it's just a matter of time, Daniel. The vampire bats will be here.
Well, hold on. My story, I actually saw a flamingo.
No, yeah, mine's not as good.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, but you didn't see the flamingo. You saw pictures of the
I saw a
flamingo.
video. There's no doubt it was in Texas.
Here
coast.
it is. Okay, so let's call this a alarmist journalism. All right, that's fine. It's from Texas Monthly. We'll put the link in. But like, this is it.
This is fake news.
It's happening.
Chet.
Well,
fake news.
It's not fake news. It's not news yet. It's to be
Paranoia.
news. It's future news. Okay. I'm reading the future news. So see, I've got a time machine.
You're just ahead of the curve.
No, but this is the crazy part. According to Texas Farm Bureau, vampire bats have been detected 40 miles south of the border, and these things have a big range. So they're here, and they've been found in Mexico further north than South Texas. So, right? Because Mexico goes further north. Anyway,
so
they're coming.
Mythbusters would call this one plausible.
Plausible.
Maybe.
It's kind of fun, though. Evidently, the vampire bats are pretty fun. They're a very charismatic animal, but Van Helsing, Bodenchuk, does say that they have a pretty serious PR problem they have to overcome.
I would think so. John Mark, are you listening to this?
Vampire bats.
They're pretty fun.
Vampire bats. Oh, they also have rabies. That's what we're really worried about. Rabies.
Because sucking your blood's not enough. I'm going to give you rabies, too.
They don't suck. They cut the cow, and then they lick the blood.
Okay, so poking you with fangs and licking your blood's not enough.
Okay, all right, yeah, fair enough.
They're basically sucking the blood. Yeah,
right,
I don't like that. That's disturbing.
I'll report on it when it's actually news down the road. Stay tuned. Stay tuned,
good.
folks. All right, let's jump over. It is now time for the Texas Music Minute. This is when we bring you guys a band, an artist, somebody maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't, but that hails from the Lone Star State to share a little bit of their music with you. All right, so this one is not country. We've been on a little bit of a country kick lately.
Understand.
And I think when people think Texas music, they automatically think country, but
There's so much more.
We're way more diverse than that. And so the Grammys were recently. They were last month. I started looking. There were a lot of Texans nominated for Grammys this year, but only one took one home. And her name is St. Vincent.
Yep.
All right, so St. Vincent, a.k.a. Annie Clark, that's her real name, raised most of her life in Dallas. So that's the town she claims. She was actually born in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Wait.
Yeah, I know. But she's a Texas artist. She moved here when she was like a baby.
Okay, so she got here as soon as she could.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough.
Graduates from Texas high school and then goes to Berkeley School of Music.
Wow.
Then decides Berkeley's lame because it's all commercialized and whatever. If you know her, she's strange. All right, guys, she's totally weird. But she comes out of Berkeley and she has blown up recently in the past few years. She's done ACL. She's done SNL. All the L's.
All the L's.
All the L's.
All the acronyms.
And she took home a Grammy for Best Alternative Music Album for her latest album, Daddy's Home. I was like, has she won other Grammys? Yeah, she's actually won other Grammys. So I'll put this I'll put this caveat before it. It's a bit of like music that critics love and the radio doesn't. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's kind of like, oh, it's artistic and weird. And like, Yeah, but do I like it? I'm not sure, but the critics love it. And I think she has some songs that I'm like, okay, that's a jam. But I'm like, she won a Grammy. She's the only Texan to have won a Grammy. Let's give her some love.
This year.
And play, yeah, this year. This year. Of course, we've won tons of Grammys, but only Texan to win a Grammy this year. Let's show her some love. Play her on the Texas Music Minute because we are the ultimate say in Texas music, I'm sure.
Obviously.
We make or break careers right here.
Absolutely.
And she needs a little help, obviously. No. But this is Pay Your Way in Pain. Sounds like a bummer of an album. But the song it gives you a good idea of who St. Vincent is. And anyway, let's roll.
Shelves were all empty, so I went to the bank to check my checking. The man looked at my face, said we don't have a record. Oh no, you thought we had forgotten. The show is only getting started. The road is feeling like a puddle. Sit down, stand up, head down, hands up, and pay your way in.
All right. What do you think, Daniel? This is right up your alley, man. I know this is what you're jamming at home. The man is speechless. Hey, okay, go. Yeah.
It took me a minute to process, so I had to think about it. I love music that's different.
Okay.
I like that we did something a little different than normal.
Yep.
You know, I like stuff that's not just country and has a beat to it,
That's
stuff
true.
like that. This is very different.
Yeah. Oh,
this
yeah.
is
like
computer techno mixed with something. I don't know because it didn't
It's
really
kind of
have like
pop
a rhythm.
music. No, that's kind of one of the hardest things about St. Vincent, and I've listened to a lot of it because she's a very popular Texas artist. I'm like, okay, I'm one of those people. If something hits and people start critically acclaiming it and all that, I'm like, I got to see what it's about.
Yeah, you
At
got
the end
to.
of the day, I mean, like, not my jam, but I'm going to give it a fair shake more
Right.
than one time. And St. Vincent's one of those. I've given her more than a few shakes, just getting in and going like, all right, what am I supposed to be gathering here? And it's always just a little like, But I kind of like it. I mean, maybe it's one of those things like I'll be the president of the fan club one day. So I keep trying. I keep trying. And it's cool. I want people to know that she exists.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I
think that's cool.
She's got more talent with music than I do.
Yeah.
So
That's for sure.
I guess I'll keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. No. St. Vincent, congratulations. Because she's listening too. Her and Todd.
Of course
are
she's listening.
together. Congrats on your Grammy.
Hey, if you are listening, I'd love for you to come visit us. You can sit. Actually, I'll move over. You can sit here.
Can sit right here.
And
No. I don't mean any disrespect. She is a forward-thinking artist and incredibly talented in doing what she wants to do. And people are loving it.
Yes.
People are loving it.
We have to continue to progress in everything we do.
That's right.
Or if we get stagnant and things don't really move. And
That's true. Yeah. Got to keep going.
Music's going to keep moving forward.
She's a visionary for sure. And she's one of those artists too. Like her videos aren't just music; they're like they're experiences.
All right.
Oh yeah. They're full experiences. All right, so let's move on. You guys had some questions and we got answers.
Are we there yet?
Hey, can you pass me the snacks?
When are we gonna stop? I gotta go.
Now this one, first question out the gate comes from Alejandro Lopez. He says, "Is it true that if I pick a bluebonnet, I go to jail?"
Absolutely. Prison.
Yep.
20 years.
Yep. 20-year
Mandatory.
fine going on that.
Yeah.
Did you believe that as a kid?
I think my parents may have said that at one point, and I picked up pretty quick that like, nah, you're lying. You just don't want me to pick them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. People have said that forever, and there's a part of me that believed it before Google. After Google, I think it's not true.
Is it though?
Is it?
Oh, all right.
I say no.
It is not illegal to pick a bluebonnet in Texas. It is not.
But it's not
There
very
is
Texan.
no law that says you will go to jail if you pick a bluebonnet. But come on, man, don't do it.
Yeah, why are you picking them?
There are things that don't even need to be in the law because it's just so obvious to all of us.
It's the Texan law.
That's right. It's the law of the fellow man and brother. So, but, there are a couple hooks that they've often gotten people on, such as it kind of stems from this rumor. It is illegal to pick, cut, or destroy anything on state land. So if you're on state land and you do it, you're going down. But not because it's a bluebonnet. It's because it's a flower.
Yeah.
Can't pick anything. Or people are often ticketed for parking illegally on the side of the highway. So that's off, obviously.
I can see that.
Yeah. So caveats to that. And then plus, you've seen those mutated blue rattlesnakes that are out there.
Oh, yeah,
they only bite people who are picking bluebonnets.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
all right. So not illegal. We answered the question. Here, this one comes from Melinda Hawkins. And this is not normally a question I would answer, but I thought, we know this answer now. Where is the best vegan food in Texas? And I thought, why the heck are you asking me that? But
Spiral Diner.
For the first time ever in the Daytripper history, we featured a vegan restaurant in Fort Worth, Texas.
It's the best I've ever had.
Without a doubt. I've had some vegan food elsewhere. This was by far the best vegan food I've ever had. Spiral Diner on Magnolia in Fort Worth.
Frozen vegan, like little
Yeah.
Amy's. Is it Annie's?
Oh, the Amy's. Yeah. The little Amy's microwave dinners.
That's probably
dinner kind of things.
The extent of
some
my
of those
vegan.
are pretty good.
No, yeah.
Some of those are pretty good. I've got nothing against vegan food or people who want to eat vegan. Just not my cup of tea. Animals are way too delicious.
Yeah.
Why would God have given us so many delicious animals if we weren't supposed to eat them? Right?
Well, some of them you cuddle, some of them you consume.
That's right. That's right. All right. No Spiral Diner, Melinda, go to Spiral Diner in Fort Worth. All right. Here's the last two questions. These kind of are tied together. And I actually had to look this up. It says, where are the native Indian reservations in Texas? And this came from Tracy McEwen Glazer.
I have no clue.
Yeah. And so I knew that we had one in East Texas, the Alabama Coshada Indian Reservation. It's technically the Alabama Coshada Tribes of Texas. That is all the way over in East Texas. And I only know that because I grew up in Southeast Texas, and it was one of those things. Back in the day, I think they had more tourism than they do now. So
people go to Coshada to gamble.
Yeah, but that's, I think, across the border.
It is across the border. It's in Louisiana.
Yeah. So I'm
guessing it's near there?
Yeah. In southern Louisiana.
Okay.
So you can go there and gamble. But in the Texas side, we don't even have gambling. I might be wrong in this. We don't even have gambling at our Indian casinos.
It's not. Oh.
Yeah. On our reservations. Yeah. So there's three total reservations in Texas. Alabama Coshada in East Texas, Kickapoo, traditional tribe of Texas that is right on the border in South Texas, kind of around Eagle Pass. And then you have the Isleta del Sur Pueblo of Texas, which is in El Paso.
Wow.
So there you go. And it was funny. We had a question come in right after that said this: would you ever consider a show in Woodville with the Alabama Coshada Indian Reservation? And the answer is, of course. That'd be awesome.
So are these reservations that we can visit?
So you can absolutely visit the Alabama Coshada Reservation. There's not a ton there. There's a really pretty lake, and you can go camping. So it's kind of got some outdoor tourism. And then there is a visitor center that we were actually thinking of putting in one of the seasons way back, or I was. And I think they got hit with one of the hurricanes did some pretty bad damage, or a tornado did some pretty bad damage, and so it wasn't visitable. But it looks like, based on my research, they've reopened, and I don't know what all is there, if it's worth a stop or not, because I hadn't been since I was a little kid. But I think we went when I was in Scouts and stuff up there. So kind of cool. Yeah.
Are there reservations where Native Americans still live? nearby?
Yeah. I mean, there still are some families on these reservations.
That'd be amazing.
I know.
Learn more about their culture and
there's a lot of history. I mean, we don't have many Indian lands at all in Texas because
Texas isn't huge.
We pushed them up to Oklahoma. I mean, that's a whole nother history. We don't have to. That's a whole nother thing. But
not necessarily anything we're proud of.
No, not at all.
But you remember, and you move forward.
That's right. So anyway, we should do one. We should do one on one of these reservations.
That would be really cool.
Really fun. All right, so those are incredibly great questions. Now we're getting to the part, not so much questions, more people who needed something off their chest.
Hey, Daytripper, I got a bone to pick with you.
Oh my goodness, it's the Daytripper. We love your show.
We got a couple good ones and then a bad one in the middle, which I love. So this one comes from Tim O'Hara. He says, just saw my first show on KERA. It was great seeing you guys go into Texas state parks and showing them off. We use Lake Arrowhead State Park outside of Wichita Falls. We camp there once a month, and we vacation at different state parks every year. Come to Lake Arrowhead State Park, then drive a little further to Scotland, Texas, and have lunch at Thad and Paisley's. Hope to see you there, Tim O'Hara.
Well, that's a nice email.
I know, that's a nice little note.
I like it.
I didn't even know there was a Scotland, Texas.
I didn't either.
Shamefully. I knew about Lake Arrowhead State Park, and it's one of those state parks that I thought about putting it in Wichita Falls, and then we ended up with a bunch of other stuff to do, and so it didn't make it in the show. And there are some state parks that are like showstoppers, and then there are some state parks that really exist to give the people of that area just somewhere to go outside, but they don't necessarily have like a signature feature.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lake Arrowhead is one of those. It doesn't really have like a signature feature that would be like, this is why this state park is better than all the other state parks. It's beautiful, but it's more or less like a locals park to go and enjoy. So,
Gotcha.
Now, as to Thad and Paisley's, I don't know anything about it, but with names like that, I bet they're making some delicious food. Delicious food. All right, here's the bad one. And this came as a comment to a Twitter post by Texas Highways, and they tagged me. It says, this comes from Lawyer TX. Lawyer TX on Twitter. Name is RC Big. I don't know if that sounds like a real name or not.
Sounds like he used to be a lawyer.
Yeah, he did, and at least he used to be a lawyer, right? I used to be a lawyer as well, so we have that in common. It says, I appreciate the idea of the show, but the shows always end up being 15 minutes of him gorging on food while gushing over how great it tastes, and then another 5 minutes wasted on some skit with his crew. I sound old and bitter.
Well, at least he admitted it.
At least he admitted it at the end. Last I checked, 15 minutes, I don't think we spend that long eating.
I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration.
Maybe it seems that long because you're like, Chet, just stop. Hey, just stop.
If you were editing these things, you would say it feels like a lifetime of Chet eating.
Yeah.
Because honestly, we do spend a lot of time eating foods and trying places, but my gosh, you get to know where those places are now.
Yeah, this is all a service for y'all. We eat this barbecue for y'all. But in every show, though, honestly, there's a minute in one restaurant of me eating and a minute somewhere else. It's 2 minutes.
We try to limit it to a minute.
Yeah,
every time.
Yeah. Sometimes it's shorter. Sometimes a little longer if I said something stupid.
And we're producing content too. It's not like you're just sitting there eating for a minute.
Yeah.
You're literally describing what you're eating, and I would love it. Like we should just go someplace and for 4 minutes you just sit there and eat. You don't say a word. You just eat. There you go.
Well, this
one's for you, ex-lawyer.
There. Yeah. That's really good. 15 minutes, huh? You want me to show you what 15 minutes actually feels like? Oh, no. Oh, man. He does admit at the end, I sound old and bitter. Yeah.
We all do sometimes.
We're making the show we want to make, and it's not for everybody. We admit it. All right, here's a good one. This is Jeff Koch. He says, I've been thinking about why I'm all in on the Daytripper, and I've realized it's because for the last several years, I've been hearing mostly about the embarrassing, heartbreaking things happening in Texas. I won't give examples because that would get political and depressing. Your show and podcast, on the other hand, are always positive and have reminded me that our state has loads of great people, food, things to see, and do make me proud to be a Texan. So keep up the great work.
That's awesome.
That's a good one. That's a good one. We do try to be a positive, optimistic show about our state.
And that's a direct reflection of the kind of people that we are and the kind of people that we want to hang around and work with, too.
Yeah.
We like it to be positive and uplifting.
Yeah.
And that's
people
how it
always
should be.
ask, like, Chet, you always love the food. Do you ever eat something you don't like? I'm like, sure, but not on TV. The place we feature, I want to praise. I want to, I want to be optimistic. I want to inspire people to go out and travel. And so we do things that we love to do, and hopefully that energy shows and it's contagious.
We love to promote small businesses too.
That's right. That's kind of at the heart of all of it,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So that's cool. Well, that wraps up our podcast. Remember, guys, the Daytripper World headquarters, the coupon code podcast will get you 20% off. And man, good month. And we'll see y'all again in June. Y'all have a wonderful May. Go take some pictures and some Bluebonnets for Todd's sake. Shout out to John Mark Clausen on the mix master over there. And remember, like, subscribe, comment, do all the things. It really helps us out a lot. And go ahead.
I'll see y'all later.
And vaya con Dios, amigos.